Okay, hi everyone. I'm glad that you can join us. We decided to host a post-conference session where we can share our insights and takeaways from the Databricks conference, which occurred last week, June 12th, et cetera, et cetera. So why don't we start? If anyone has anything to say, we'll start that. If we get stumped, I will ask you some questions that maybe will jog some memory and information you want to share about the sessions, about the conference, everything. And we have to mention that we got tickets because our partner Databricks gave them to us, gave us complimentary tickets. They were very generous, and I think it really helped Women in Big Data members learn a great deal in the conference. So let's start. Who wants to go first? Albina?
The most interesting part for me was so at the conference was big companies presenting how they utilize. We attended this, and mostly session was about AI, how they utilize AI. And for me, it was very interesting to compare how big company utilize AI versus I was at a couple events previously where startups. AI startups present their project. And that was a big difference for me to see how startups and big companies both utilize AI. So I feel like big companies still do it slowly, of course, because they have like a lot of restrictions. Like for them, all processes go slowly, which also I see as a good side for us employees. So they still like by the time they like really will be an AI, we will have time to adapt. So one of the session I saw was where AI presented their project. They was so their project was basically just kind of recommendation system. They created some recommendations that was recommending black dress, like you put input, like can you find a black dress that matching with this purse, and it gives you the example like which it just basically finds what dress they have on website and which of them are black. Uh, which was okay project. I just feel like it's more recommendation system than AI. Also, it was like really, I was happy to like see like how is market like right now. That was like excellent uh, way to be exposed and to discover what they working on. Um, I also was on hands-on learning, which was kind of like hard because it was too many people, and everyone had like a different speed. I I really liked the expert uh, territory, like the expert itself. They was giving a lot of stuff. There was actually a lot of new companies I met with. Like I like a lot of new project what they're working on. Like I learned a lot of about new BI tools, business intelligence tools. They still calling me because I'm from Intuit, but like guys, I work in Intuit, but I didn't came from Intuit. Like I don't have the weight of decision which like product they're gonna buy. Uh, but it was definitely like also interesting. It was my first time at a conference, so it also was a new experience to me to see how it is. I met a couple people, uh, just talked about like what they doing, so most people like that I met on a conference, they usually went from their company. So because their company use Databricks and they send them. Um, yeah, and then it was women in a data panel where I met you guys. That was fun. Um, that was good place to meet too. Um, yeah, what? Oh, and one important, yeah, I actually my favorite part on the conference was there was one session for Click. Um, and I was using Click for 4 years now, and they was telling about some prediction features they have in Click. It's actually I use Click Sense. It's on Click Cloud and available for everyone, as I understand. Actually, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm planning to try it and see how we can utilize it. It would be interesting because I never heard about this before I went to the conference.
Interesting. Yeah, that
So,
you went to a Databricks conference and you heard about another tool's features that are new. Cool.
yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Um, Tiffany, were you starting to say something before? Did I cut you off?
Oh, no, no, no. It's nothing. No, not at all.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I do want to mention the Women in Data panel discussion, and something that keeps happening whenever you have any kind of panel discussion is the variety of the pathways of women, at least, to get into data. People come from all over. I remember one of them was a mechanical engineer, I believe, in her bachelor's studies, but it's like it's always from different things in different ways, and sometimes even humanities. Oh no, humanities, but this is something that keeps happening whenever there's a panel discussion about data, people in data, they get from all over the place. And I think it's very interesting. I don't know what other field, or I can't call it an industry, but this like milieu has such differing backgrounds for people in it. Just a thought that I was having when we were there. And it was an amazing networking opportunity because it wasn't, all the thousands of people, because you can't do that. It was just like, I don't know, 150, 200. I don't know how many were in the room. I didn't count, but it was more manageable and you can actually meet people and talk to them. And yeah, so that was good. I'm glad I went. I wasn't sure I was going to go, but I did, and I'm happy. Deepti, do you have something you want to share about something from the conference? Maybe something that even surprised you?
Yes. So actually, Niyati and I explored a lot of companies in Expo. So we were kind of surprised by the how self-service analytics has evolved over the time because we both started our career 12 years back in reporting, and we went to a couple of companies like Sigma, and there was one more Sigma, and there was one more company. I'm forgetting its name. So their tools were really very advanced in nature, and at the same time, though they look very similar, but when we actually asked these companies how these tools differ from each other, we realized that one is more conversational in nature. Like if you want to have any questions about the data, we can ask about it. While Sigma is more to do with the dashboarding, and even a person who has a basic Excel knowledge can work on Sigma. And then I also met couple of went to the Databricks booth in the conference. So they showed us the AI BI Genie feature, which was pretty very advanced. And I attended couple of healthcare data engineering sessions. One I was very much interested in was the how Eli Lilly and Tradence modernized the entire data infrastructure at Eli Lilly, and they showed us the various capabilities and capabilities of the Databricks and how did they migrated the entire Medallion architecture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And I also enjoyed the panel discussion by women, the networking event on the Wednesday, which was very good. And I happened to meet couple of old friends as well as a lot of new people in the conference as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, Bhakti. Bhakti joined us.
Hey ladies, sorry for the late join.
No problem. So do you want to go ahead and share some insights or something that was especially interesting that happened in the conference?
Yeah, so I think I was very much interested in the sessions where they spoke about building AI first thinking in organizations as we build teams, right? So that was those sessions were most interesting to me. A lot of them spoke about how they are approaching the AI first mindset when they're building software for their team, be it at an application level or an infrastructure level. How, when we are trying to implement a feature, we're thinking about how to make it AI friendly as opposed to our usual metrics, which would have been scalability, security, etc. And while doing this, I guess one of the biggest concerns is security, right? So you don't want to uh, make it too AI friendly that you are trying to walk your way backwards and figuring out how you don't know how your systems are behaving anymore, right? So those were some of the sessions that I really enjoyed, and it was nice to hear from folks how they're trying to use these in their orgs, right? How they are cultivating the knowledge base, how they are building leaders, how are they empowering their engineers from to transition into this kind of a role. So that was really nice to hear. Um, the other kind of sessions that the other my takeaway from some of these sessions was that last year it was all about like trying AI, meaning uh, it was still let's try our hands at this. Let's see how we can integrate LLMs into our chatbots, or very very experimental, right? And a lot of the companies who were making larger strides were mostly startups or those whose risk appetite was generally higher. But when it came to like a traditional enterprisey organizations, the switch was not as fast last year. But this year it has completely changed, and now every enterprise leader is thinking about how to integrate AI deeply within their orgs, almost to a point where every software engineering team now has an AI engineer on it. Um, as opposed to previously, some they would have like a QA engineer or a security engineer to focus on those metrics. Now they're also having an AI engineer. So enterprises are making quick strides this year, and basically, if any organization is not incorporating AI into their day-to-day software that they are building, then they are basically going to be left behind. Um, and for next year, the vision is to have a multi-agentic AI play at a larger scale. So this year is still about using single agents, building single agents, or adding, like I said, like adding a summarization capability to your knowledge base using LLMs, or adding chatbot features, improving querying and those kind of things. But next year, it's going to be about a distributed systems of agents interacting with each other. So just like uh, in the event when cloud became a reality, right? Distributed systems were introduced, and there used to be one manager, like a node manager of the system, and then there used to be different agents talking to each other, right? Essentially that's a cloud environment. So that's the go envision what that's what folks are envisioning for AI agents, that there would be one master agent who would be orchestrating roles and responsibilities, everything, and then there will be multiple agents in different domains trying to interact with each other. So how we solve that problem, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, that was majorly what I took away from the conference.
Yeah, sounds interesting. How they're changing their structure. I was in one session where the focus was very much not on just like adding sort of an independent AI consultant. I would almost think about it to teams, but they changed the structure of their organization, reflecting the data, or the data because reflecting the organization. And they made like changes in both levels, in the data and in the organizational level, in order to prepare everyone for AI and for users to be able to use it, be able to use the different features. I think that specifically in Databricks, but in general in projects, so that you're not hampered by even just the way your team is built, or who's your boss, and stuff like that. There was a lot of emphasis about the teams themselves as well as the data. It wasn't just the data, it was the people. And another session that's kind of related to that, and it was interesting that they had sessions that were not about the technical aspects of Databricks and AI and the data and everything, but about the people as well. Another session was focusing on how to train your teams to use AI, to accept AI, to not use AI for their daily tasks, but how to develop it so that everyone can have it, have data products that are available for everyone to reuse. And again, an interesting emphasis on the people and not necessarily just the tools and the technology. Thank you, Bhakti. Tiffany, did you manage to?
Yes. So I was able
Good.
to export my notes from the app. But I think the kind of unifying takeaway that I got from this event is I I started as a data engineer, so I know about data warehousing, data management, data cleansing, data reporting, whatever. And there was like one phrase somebody had said that really stood out is that most data engineers spend the majority of their time in operations. When an analyst says, "Hey, can you give me a report?" and an engineer says, "It'll take me 8 weeks," right? To, do, I don't know, their ETL and build a report for them or a dashboard for them to look up. Now the emphasis is spend more time building, less time on operations, which means put your agents on top of your data, empower your users to, um, understand their data further. I've been to a lot of these sessions and they kept, encouraging the Databricks apps. I saw the demos of what they were doing. I mean, it's got that chat capability. It's got RAG vector databases embedded in the backend. So, whatever question you ask your agent is centered on your company's data, which is, really important in the industry today. And then I think another key takeaway is, and I took some screenshots of it in that Women in AI and Data session. Um, I thought it was booked full, and then I met somebody at the expo hall, and she encouraged me to join. And some of the stats that stood out to me as it relates to kind of the disparity between women and men in the industry is that in the current state, women are 3 times more likely than men to lose their jobs to AI. And that was a big surprise to me, right? Um, and 10% of jobs held by women are at risk by being replaced by AI versus only 3.5% of male held jobs. So, I think it kind of hit home where, I have 2 daughters and it just emphasizes the importance of, our mission as our nonprofit, where we should be encouraging more women to explore these roles in data and AI. And when I heard of that panel discussion with those female leaders, right? I think somebody had asked about like the leadership traits that, someone should develop in a data and AI related field. And I think the theme that I heard was you have to emphasize like the business aspects of it. We're often ingrained with like deep data analysis, but when you step back and think about the strategy, the big picture, think one of the panel, the ladies in the panel, she said you got to zoom out, right, to kind of be able to understand like the strategy around organizations. Yeah, and let's see here, and evolve to technology and the change in teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rest of the things that I learned were like little cookie crumbs because I'm not familiar with Databricks. I'm familiar in general with tools. And so I really liked the fact that they are maintaining their connections with open source, and that in the, I think in the Unity catalog, was it?
Mm-hmm.
There's an option you can just directly access the data if it's built in an open source environment. You don't have to like go through some other process that would import the data into your environment. You just go there. I think that's really nice. It's very straightforward and it's useful. Their marketplace is another example of a company that encourages its users to create products within its sphere. And I like that you can sort of hack them. There was one company that used the public marketplace and its version of a private marketplace to have like an internal marketplace where they could have their data products and offer it to different teams. And lastly, what was the Unity stuff. That was the catalog federation. That's the expression that they use that you can access. Just like that. Oh, and SQL editor where you can collaborate live with people. You can talk to someone and say, oh no, this one was wrong. Let's change, blah, blah, blah. And you can have people editing the same query at the same time and then run it immediately. You don't like copy paste it from text that you're sharing in, I don't know, some Zoom or another virtual environment and then have to run it. I think that was very useful, in my opinion, obviously. And I like that. So to summarize, I think we had at least 3. Some of us had more, maybe, if anyone went on a Monday session, hands-on session or certification. We had several days that were full of content, full of interacting with people, and I think they were useful to me, at least. So happy to have gone. And thank you everyone for joining us. We will distribute this video to the rest of our members in Women in Big Data and see if they have questions or discussions. We would be very happy to continue the conversation. Thanks, everyone.